All right, so we spent about 20 minutes working on this and we have a page. We have a landing page. It says FAQ. Isn't that great? Now, what I wanted to show you before is, again, there's a lot of intricacy and there's a lot of customization available. It's just you have to really know where to look. And it's not a very difficult framework. This is my favorite. It's my favorite framework. I absolutely love Laravel. And using it again reminded me why I love this framework. So if you look, what I was seeking out before, if you look at Lang English, you'll see validation. Now, validation is every rule that's in this framework. And you can make your own validation rules, it doesn't matter. But what I'm taking your eyes towards is you see all these different things like exist, distinct, blah, 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 yada, yada. What we can do is we can just go to one like required right here. And we could just say, enter a fucking, and at this point, every time somebody doesn't enter in whatever it is, that'll come up. And we can also change the actual label, which we're going to, because the label is going to be based on what's in the input field as a name and stuff. So we'll do that later. I just wanted to point that out to you because that's what I was looking for. It was driving me nuts. So that's in Lang Ing, En, that's what we downloaded as validation. Anyway, so we just made our database, we're set to go, but now we have all of these models. We have the user model, and that's ready. We have the info, which is going to be where your profile information comes from, your forums, your discussions, responses, all that stuff. However, there's another feature of Laravel that makes it so easy to use and so eloquent as their keyword is. And one of those is relationships. Now, if you watched my Code Igniter project, you would note that I kept saying, oh, with stuff like Laravel, if we had relationships, this would be so much easier. We wouldn't be doing joins and stuff like that, or wouldn't have to create them on our own. We don't have to do any of that now because here, if we just use, so we wanted to link our info, our profile, and everything to the info table. So if we just use app models info, and we also wanted the user to be linked to the discussions, not so much the forum, because it doesn't matter who started the forum, but the discussion and the responses. So now at this point, once we've already introduced those models, we can create relationships between this, the user, and all those. So let's think about these relationships if we can. When it comes to a profile, the information that's available in the profile, that's one user's one profile. So if that's one user's one profile, if one user can only have one profile, then the relationship is pretty much self-explanatory. And what we would have to do is we would have to create a public function, call it info, and then we would return this, meaning this user model has one, and we're going to talk about app models info. So that's it. That's all we have to do. That profile, that user has one profile. Now, when it comes to discussions, well, you're going to have lots of discussions, right? If you make a forum and you start off the forum, there are going to be a lot of forums, there are going to be a lot of discussions. So we're going to say this. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Let me just go back up here 1 second. Just double checking myself. Yeah. Okay. It didn't look right for a second. So this, so you can have a lot of them. So it has many app models. This is basically setting things up. You don't have to do it this way. I just like getting this done. And even though we haven't really gotten into the actual project, and more or less it's going to be CSS like it was before. And we'll do the more difficult stuff later on. And then response will also be as many. So now this links all of these together. But you can't do just one way, you have to do it the other way. So now info belongs to, this info belongs to the user. This is the user's info. So we have to include that. Now let's just tell this model what's fillable. And what's fillable is an array that equals array. You can type array and put it in parentheses. I like to do it that way. And what are the fillable ones? What do we want to be able to have the user put in? First name, last name, location, and pick. Otherwise, it's going to freak out on you. You don't want it to freak out. You can also say protected. There's another variable called guarded. And you could just put in a blank one and it won't give you any error messages. I like to just do that, just in case. I mean, it's up to you. But there's protected fillable, which means that the only values that are you can fill, and guarded, which are the only values that you can't fill. And again, we don't have to do anything with the timestamps. Timestamps are already included. Hey, let me go over here. See, created, updated that. They're all in there. You don't have to do anything. And now we're going to say public function user. I have that response. I'm just thinking that response might be a problem, but with those response, yeah, we'll figure it out. Probably have to change that, but it's not giving me a problem now. So anyway, belongs to app models user. So now we know that the user has one profile, and that profile belongs to the user. We're not going to go deeper into it right now because I want to get started with the styling and everything. Forum's got a couple of things that belong to it as well. Well, one thing that belongs to it, app models discussion. And of course, we're going to, let me just show you. Protected, I'll just do protected, guarded, and we'll just go like this. All right, makes it easier. So now you don't have to worry about that either when we enter anything in here. And of course, public function discussion return this has many app models discussion. So I want to kind of try to explain this a little bit better, if I may, with the relationships. Just look at how you're using each model, right? Each model either belongs to or has one or is a many-to-many. It depends on how it's used. So when you create a form, that form is going to have a lot of different discussions. You have the form is like the main general idea, and then within that form, somebody says, hey, in this main general idea, I wanted to talk about X, Y, and Z. So now every user can do that as often as they want in each form. We're not going to limit a user to just one discussion in one forum. We're going to allow them to do as many as they want. So that's why it has many, because they can do as many as they want. But each discussion that is created in the forum belongs to that forum because you put it underneath that one title, that one headline forum. Now every discussion that you create or everybody creates belongs to that one forum. See how that works? So that's why that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it right now. So that's about it. We don't need anything else. But now discussion, we're going to need to put in a couple of things, not just forum. We're also going to need to put in user, and we're also going to need to put in response, because this puppy dog, I'm going to use my protected fillable, because there's really no big difference. I mean, all we have to fill in here is what, body? Oh, no, wait, hold on, I'm wrong. Form ID, got to tell it to do that, because we're gonna insert them directly. We're gonna do it our way, and body. Comma is not necessary. It's up to you. Public function user. Now let's do form first. Oops. Sorry. No, I was right. Lowercase. Better that way. Return this belongs to the app models. The reason why I'm telling it that way, even though we include it there, is because that's how it's always worked for me. So you could try not doing that and see if it doesn't give you an error message. And user. So every time a user posts it, it's their specific discussion. That's what we already set up. Oh, get that in there. And public function response. So now the response belongs to this discussion, but every discussion has many responses, because every discussion you can just keep posting a new response in. So it has many. Seeing as it's based on what you're referencing. So seeing as how, like, the discussion itself will belong to the form and the user. So this way we can easily reference from the user in the form. But when it comes to the response itself belongs to the discussion. So because of that, since you can continually respond in the same discussion, the discussion has many responses. It'll make more sense when you see it in action. Trust me. It'll make a lot more sense. And seeing as how we went through so much trouble with the last one, with CodeIgniter, just trying to get the information we wanted, user, and use models discussion. Checked fillable. Again, that's discussion. Oop, too many S's. ID, user ID, and body. And then we'll go public function user. And same thing. It belongs to this user. It belongs to this discussion. I just like getting this done now, and then we'll move along. The reason why I like getting the models out of the way is because our landing page is going to require at least the forum model. Okay, so that's that. Now, as I've said before, we're going to put the models away for now. That's pretty much all we're going to be doing with the models. We're going to make one more function later on, but we'll do that when we get to that point. As I mentioned before, we don't have a controller for this. If we don't have a controller for this, there are a lot of things we can't really do. We're just basically posting views. So we don't want to do that. We want to make a controller so that not only can we post more than just views from the routes, but we can also do things with these views. So we go to controllers, we make a new file, we're going to call this landings. I'm going to say landings controller. Seeing as how the controllers, you don't need to, but most of the controllers will be pluralized. It's just, that's just how they do it. I don't know why. Namespace is app, HTTP controllers, and we're going to use app. Was it HTTP controller? No, I think it was this. Was that? Let me just double check. HTTP controls, yes, that's right. So we'll do that. I also want to add in our app. Yeah, we're going to need it. App models user. App models form. We're just going to put that in right now. There are other things we're going to put in later, but we're not up to that yet. So now we say class, we open up the class, we start the new class, landings controller extends controller. That's all we need. Now, you can use this. You can go over here in the terminal and you can say PHP artisan make controller, and you can give it a name, and it would actually create all these functions for you, more or less. If you tell it to create all these functions for you, it will just do all this for you. It'll create all the functions for you. But Laravel and basically any API will more or less have a specific set of functionality for it. So you're going to have the view, the create, the store, the edit, the update. You're going to have all those just set, and I don't want to name them like that. Maybe one of these other ones will do that, but you're not going to need that for this. So we're doing very, very simplistic, very easy, nothing major. And we're going to do public function. We're going to do the index. Now what I will do is I will get forum, which we will call, which will be, actually let's name it forums, and we'll say forum, and we're going to go order by created at descending, and we're going to get. So now the only thing we need to do now that we have the forums that are available is we're going to return the view, and with Laravel you can do landing.index, you can do landing/index. We're going to just do .index. But we have to send the forums variable, so we are going to do that by doing that. Now, we will come here to the web. We're going to introduce the app HTTP controllers, landings controller. No, not that one, landings controller. We're going to introduce that. And instead of doing it like this, we're going to just go like this. And we're going to say the function that we're looking for is index. And we're just going to, did I do that right? Hold on 1 second. Let me go back here. Oh, class, I'm sorry. So we're just going to say landings controller class because we got to tell it that it's the landings controller class, and we're going to say index. Now, so again, the route, that's its own class, its own object, or it's its own class. And in the route class, the get functionality, which is going to look for our personal address, which you don't need to put in there. And in this case, the way we're doing it is we're introducing or we're installing or we're inserting or whatever the controller, the landings controller, and we're going to say landings controller. We're going to tell it the class landings controller and what function in that class, index. So now when we hit this, wait, come on. What? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hold on. I spelled that right? Oh, my fault. My fault. I forgot. This is supposed to be in a variable. I mean, in an array. That's why. Oh wait, did I put it too much around it? No, that should be good. Legal offset type. What the hell are you talking about? And they don't show you like the error. Well, this is what happens when you're in development. It looks like this. If you were in production, it would be a different look. The error. What, that's not right? Serious? Hold on a second. Let's go back here. Let me look. Sorry about that. Once I remember it, I'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah. Did that wrong. So we have to give it the, we have to tell it what we're going to be calling it in the, sorry. You have to tell it what its value is first. And there we go. Okay. So a little bit of a snafu. I don't know what that's about. Okay, that's better. All right, so a little bit of a snafu, but no big deal. So now that we're ready, let me see. What are we doing in terms of time? Where's my time? Okay, there we go. 21 minutes. That's not bad. Sorry. That's what I was looking for. All right, so now that that's done, I think right now we can actually start working on it. So let's do some downloads. So if we go to the public file, we have resources, we have CSS, we have JS and everything like that. This is where we're going to put all our files and everything. So if I go to, no wait, I don't think I need to go this far. Hold on. Let me just double check my folders. This is what happens when you doubt yourself, folks. Don't do it, okay? Don't doubt yourself. Okay, yeah, I don't need to go that far. Right, and then resources. Hold on. Public. Right, that's separate. Okay. So we're just going to go here, and we're going to make a new folder. We're going to make our CSS folder. We're going to make our... Now, what you can also do is there's this terminal call that... There's this terminal call that you can sort of connect your public files to your storage files, so you can just do storage. That's up to you. You can use the public file. It's no big deal. I mean, again, we could take a look at that later on. So now we have images, and there are certain images, and within images, I want to also put a couple of files, one folder, and put a users folder, and I want to put a landing folder. Landing folder is going to have one picture, and no, not outside of it. No. Yes. Landing, as you seen, SMT5. There we go. Oh, there she is. There's one of my many loves. Now, this one, again, when you're doing like a background like that, make sure it's as wide as it's supposed to be. This one's garbage. We'll just go back with the one I had before. It's 19 by 1006. We'll save that image as, and we'll send that over to Facum. Public image landing. Save it as Clio. Okay, so now let's get things started. Before we do anything else, let's go to CSS. Let's just start doing our main. And I want to keep the heading in the header. Well, no, I'll call it layout. And we'll get to that later. And I say that a lot. And landing and pages. In the JS, we'll do landing.js, and we'll do pages. Pages.js. So with the main, we're going to have some main stylings. First and foremost, we're going to want to import the font I was using before was Oswald. So we're just going to import that again. Get my picture out of the way. Just import that. Put my picture back up there. So import that. So we'll do that. So now we can reference Oswald. What the hell? No, what are you doing? Right there. So we import that, and then we of course want to make our main variables. So we'll go root, and let me reference that again. Right, that's what I figured. So root, and then we'll go primary color. The primary color I used last time was, what was the color? 0, 0, 0. Okay. Let's keep that open because I want to keep those things referenced. 0, 0, 0, 0. Secondary color was, what was that? Let's do like this. RGBA 150, 150, 150, 0.5. I'm going to do a little something different with the alerts though. I don't really think, and I'm not going to use warnings, so I might as well not even bother. I want to make this like bold and bright, so we'll go 240, lighten you up, and we'll lighten you up. What does that look like? Yeah, that's red, man. That is some serious red. And the same thing with 30. I want to kind of soften it up a bit to 40, 33. And we'll do 30 for success. We will use success. Now, for the overall, you know, we're doing padding 0, margin 0, font family, Arial, blah, blah, blah. That's all I'm going to need for that. Logo, we're going to do, what was the color that I used? Font family will be Oswald. Arial, font size. Pixels, what was the color? I like that color, so I'm going to keep that shit. My sister would love that color too. She's all about colors and shit. She's also a big part of Rockasite. So main heading would be font family. I'm just keeping this open so I remember. I think I want to do another one now. I think I want to add something to this. Text align, center, margin top, 20 pixels, margin bottom, 10 pixels, color, bingo bango. No data, my favorite. That's font size 18 pixels, margin top 10, text align, center, font style italic, and color we're going to make it a little lighter, 0.6. Just do that. All right, let's do form area. I'll go height 60 pixels. I want to actually add another one to that. 20 pixels. I want to name form text area, which will be a height of 90 pixels, and a margin bottom of 20, because I have a little bit of a problem with that. That's more or less our form control, as they call it, in pretty much every other styling framework out there. And we're doing all this because you'll see just how easy it is to make a page once we're done with all this preliminary stuff. Padding 5 because I love my padding. Font size 16 pixels. Outline none. Font family. Arial, blah blah blah. And width 100%. Now, And the reason why we're doing with 100% on that is so that we make a form and then it just is wires the form. We don't have to do anything. Color. This is the border when you focus in on it. And then main input. I don't really need to style this, but I do it anyway. Color, RGBA, primary button. Gotta have that. We have a lot of buttons. Only family's got a lot of buffers. Padding, of course, is 5 because I don't like things being squished up against anything. Color white. White, white, thank you. Background color. Primary color. And I'm just, because I want to get through this quick. Border none, outline none, obviously. And I styled this thing a million times and I still don't just remember it. I think next time when it comes to styling, I'm just going to figure it out as I go along. Because this gets kind of stupid. It's actually better if you, with certain styling, you just kind of figure it out as you're going along. It makes it more interesting. Besides, styling it's nothing. Like this is the more tedious aspect, which is why we're kind of doing this. We're making all these primaries and everything, and we're doing the main, because it's the tedious, annoying aspect of it, of web development, but it's still necessary. Wrapper, I don't know. Do I want? I think I'm just going to do a wrapper because I didn't use the other ones, so I'm just going to do a wrapper. Just a regular wrapper. I was trying to do something and I just never used it. So if that's not being used, then there's no point to it. Okay. I think actually, no, that's good. Form border is another story. That one I do want to use a couple of times. Oh, I have to make a main text input. Because we're going to use that, like I said, we're going to use it a couple of times. Let me go back up here for a sec. Let me get rid of this for 1 minute. Form text there, okay. That's fine. And now with main input, we're going to say that. And with main text area, we're going to say a height of, I'm going to do 60. I think that's what I called it. And the links, yes, links are very important. Main link. It's probably like a 40-minute video now. All about the styling too. None. Put all the ones that have similar styling together. And we'll just do a little transition on that. Ease. And then with main link, we're going to say that the font size, 16 pixels, small, we'll say it's 12. Oh yeah, this is going on forever. This is a very long video. Didn't want it to be this long. Fun stuff. Error and success. Is that all I really need? So error, we're going to say, as usual, padding 5 pixels as I spit all over everything. Var alert, position absolute. I can actually do that for both. we will be using success, unlike last time. And font weight, we're going to make it bold. And with error, we're going to say color. Too far. Alert. And with success, the color is going to be var. Success. Okay. That's all the main styling. Done. But now we're at what? 35 minutes. Okay, we're going to stop here. So when I come back, we're going to finally do something with this as opposed to saying, feck you. We're going to finally be doing something with that. I will see you then.